I didn't realize I had done it already again. Sorry. Well, anyways, welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Dash Attack, and today we are going to be talking about the Devil May Cry show on Netflix. Hopefully, with some people. I did send out some invitations. Hopefully, other people will join me. And if you're a friend of the channel and want to come on, hi. Oh, hey, we got some people in the chat right now. Good morning. Hey, Kenneth, how's it going? Hi, Chuds and Bigots, and I hate Netflix, DNC. Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. I have a lot of mixed feelings about the show myself. I don't think it reflects the Devil May Cry franchise very well. I think it's mostly just Adi Shankar doing like his thing, and he injected a lot of his own biases into the show. I think the animation is pretty good. The script is kind of shit. Like the dialogue is pretty shit. Some of the voice acting is pretty good, like particularly Kevin Conroy. I need to watch the DMC 27 anime. I seen the first episode of that. Yeah, I just saw the hack writer Shankar getting community noted on X. You know, what's interesting about Shankar is he was actually very nice to me. Oh, hey, we got a guest. Hey. Hey, Peter, how's it going?
Oh, hey there. How's it going, Dash? Good.
Hey, thanks for coming last minute.
Yeah, no problem. You wanted to talk about DMC? I'm like, oh yeah, I'd be happy to talk about DMC. I love DMC.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the games. A lot of my friends are also big fans of the games. I know Leon has talked about the show, and so has my friend Dante, who's a really big fan. And they all hated the show.
Yeah, it seems pretty mixed. It seems like people who have played the games seem to be more on that spectrum of not being a huge fan of it, at least with like the liberties they took. And it seems like people who haven't played the games, they seem to enjoy the show more.
Well, it was the same way with Castlevania. It's like people that know the lore and know the themes like it. And if you liked, if you were just going into Castlevania not really knowing like how it was supposed to be, how it handles religion, and like just the overall lore and tone that Castlevania is supposed to have, you know, so it's. Yeah, so like, you know, people familiar with the source material, I'm guessing just very disappointed with the show. And people like who are just getting in, like they're now curious about it and want to try out the games. Pretty much the Castlevania show actually did get me to play more Castlevania games. I had played a few of the NES ones prior.
Yeah, no, the all the talk about I did some stuff on my channel getting ready for this release, talking about Devil May Cry with some people, like Mr. Ruben Langdon. He played Dante, for example.
Oh, you had Ruben on your show?
I did. Yeah, that was
excellent.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool. He's a pretty chill dude.
He's an awesome dude. I think he's super cool. And in fact, like that was the video that Shankar actually responded to when I'm going to pull up that video. The thing I was reporting turned out not to be true, so the video isn't monetized, even though it is getting a resurgence in views again. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I've just got to put this up on screen.
Yeah, no, while you're doing that, I was trying to say is, yeah, it got me interested in playing DMC again. So I ordered the games on Steam, only to learn like half of them don't even work.
All right. Oh, only half of them work? Oh,
yeah,
damn.
Only half of them.
I have I think the collection still works on Xbox One backwards compatibility, so I can I have all the games for Xbox, so yeah, so this was when rumors that Johnny and Boss started that Landon had quit acting. Shankar actually commented on my video. You can see right here
Oh, wow.
to have Ruben back. This was 6 months ago.
And yet. Curiouser and curiouser.
What, you think he might like actually come back as a different character? Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, this a very likely season 2. The way that the streamers typically, I mean, even before streaming, just going back to like Disney and Warner, etc., Nickelodeon with Viacom, when they would order animation, typically you're putting them into 24 or 48 hour episode sets. So the way it is it's almost guaranteed any animated show, especially on a stream, will get a season 2. So maybe he'll show up in season 2. Though Ruben, when I talked to him, hadn't said that he had anything to do with it. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, he didn't. I know, like, he got a lot of heat from certain factions in Capcom over his COVID stances, and which I think is very unfair, because if you know Rupert Landon, he has a long history with Capcom, a long history, like going all the way back to Code Veronica.
Yeah. No, he was even before he was voicing Dante, he worked also as the motion capture guy on him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one that introduced Johnny, and then later the guy that plays Virgil, whose name I'm not thinking of right now. Staunton. I'm going to get my
Yeah, he's not in the show either, because spoiler, the show has Virgil, of course.
Yep, he's only there at the end, but yeah, no, it's not him. So I don't know what's up. Apparently, what Ruben says is that, yeah, Newsweek during COVID, Newsweek came out with what was basically a hit piece on him, and then that kind of scared some people at Capcom, and they just kind of at that point just like filtered Ruben out. Like there was nothing Ruben could say really to push back.
Yeah, that is shit. That is shit. This is why I hate the media.
Well, I mean, but even many of the people that worked on DMC are gone. They're not even with Capcom.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, a lot of them are left.
Hideki's gone. A bunch of them are gone.
Yeah, I'm curious what their next game is going to be. I know they were talking. I know he expressed interest in wanting Microsoft to restart Scalebound, which I would absolutely love. Kind of a dream wish of mine. You know, I was really looking forward to that game.
Man, I need DMC 6. I want DMC 6.
Oh, yeah, like just have DMC 6 set completely in hell and just have it be like Virgil and Dante.
Yeah, it's just kind of like surviving in the wilderness there. That'd be cool.
That'd be a cool premise. Like, it'd be a simple story, nothing like, you know, because DMC 5 was really, really big. Like, you know, be okay if they like downscaled it a little bit.
Yeah, Nero is trying because now he knows that's his dad and uncle. So
oh yeah, like big fan theory for years.
Yeah, Johnny, I'm getting ready for this other interview. Johnny Bosch actually said, well, I think was it in 2018 or 2019, he said when he auditioned for the role of Nero that he was actually told then the big secret. So he actually knew about that being true like way longer than almost anyone else had. I thought that was a fun factoid.
Yeah. Nightcore, yeah. Rupert Langdon voiced Dante from 3 onwards. And he's a really cool guy. Like very fair-minded guy.
Yeah, he's also was Dante in the crossover, so we show up some fighting games. He also did the anime. He also did like commercial spots.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, like DMC 5 that you are playing Ruben. Like it looks like Ruben. It is Ruben, basically.
Yeah, like he did all the mocap for 3, and you're saying he was doing the mocap for Dante even before he became the voice?
I don't know for sure if he was doing it himself, but they were already talking to him because he had a motion capture company.
Yeah, he helped in Code Veronica. I saw him in the credits when I did the last playthrough.
He's a cool dude. He got done dirty. He's another one of those guys. And his reason makes no sense. He didn't even break. No one is accusing him of doing anything wrong. Besides,
no, people at Capcom were just cowards.
Yeah.
You know, like they were just afraid, you know, just because of the, political pressures that were going on at the time.
Sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. It really does suck. Like, these companies need to have more of a spine when it comes to the media.
They do. Yeah, he was already helping with, like, yeah, you mentioned Code Veronica. He was already doing a lot of the stuff because when he started with Capcom, it was because he could speak Japanese and English, and when they were just starting to do motion capture, even for the first Resident Evil games, he was like, "Well, you need to understand a lot of the body language you're using doesn't really work here." So he was trying to coach the Japanese actors to giving a more American performance, and that's kind of how he got that relationship started. So by the time by the time you get to 3, he had that firm relationship there, and then when you get on to 4, I guess Johnny had some experience already being out there in Japan, and the whole thing came together. But it's basically Ruben that made all that happen. That's why it feels so personal to, like, hardcore fans, because they're like what the heck? Like, this guy's been there from the very beginning. You're just gonna cut him out?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem like he has any Shankar has any personal beef with Langdon, like, if this comment is to be believed.
Yeah, and that's probably a good thing.
That is a good thing. Like, I know Bosch, like, still likes Ruben. Like, a lot of people still like Ruben. Like, that's what I think, like, the voice actor community, like, a lot of YouTubers think, like, the whole voice actor community, like, they only think of all, like, the really shallow and, like, kind of like gatekeeping voice actors like Chris Sabat and stuff, but they're not all like that.
No, I mean, I think there are definitely those out there who are more chill. I think sometimes that makes them a target, though, because I
Yeah,
feel
I
like,
think that's the thing. Like, it's just like, the industry is just like as you saw with Ruben, like, what can happen, like, like, like you need companies to have your back. You need, like, and, like, even a long time person like Ruben can get, like, thrown under the bus over, like, the stupidest shit.
yeah, that's kind of fun. I've had in these 2 interviews I've done with Ruben, even when they went on the DMC subreddit, which isn't always, ironically, isn't a huge fan of Ruben's. Even none of them say really
Oh,
that he's
it's
a bad
Reddit.
guy.
Like, I this
Yeah.
is why I don't go on Reddit.
But it's just worse. The worst thing they can say is, well, I don't really like his political views, or he believes some wacky stuff. He's into UFOs. That's like his big thing. He really is into
People believe in much weirder stuff than UFOs.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
But he's
I mean,
super
like,
nice.
did you hear the
Super
talk
nice.
about the pyramids lately?
Oh yeah, the pyramids with the secret underground city. That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
Any day now.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we should talk about the show. You said you kind of liked it.
Yeah, I have terrible tastes, so I can like shows that some people say are terrible or full of wokery. And as long as it isn't like this is the new mainline thing, this is it, like you saw with Star Wars or like the Star Trek stuff, and you can have some, there's a bit of a split from it, then I'm like, okay, then I'm gonna try to take it on its own merits. I like the voice acting. The voice acting is solid. I like the Rabbit character. He's great.
Yeah.
Some of the fights are okay. I think they got the spirit of Dante generally correct. So I'm more positive than negative.
Yeah.
But that last episode, that was like,
I like how they
terrible.
got, like, a lot of the bosses from, like, some of the most memorable bosses from the from 3, 4, and 5 as kind of like that posse. Not sure if that
Yeah.
shapeshifter one was ever in the games.
Yeah. The best episode was, is it 6? 6 is the one
You
where
like the 6? Yeah, the
Yeah,
one where that just goes into the rabbit's backstory.
yeah, that was so good. And he's not exactly an original character because he was in a manga and I guess some other DMC universe materials, not the
Really?
game.
Oh, he was in a manga.
Yeah, so not technically an original creation,
But I'm sure his motives
enough.
are original. Yeah,
Excellent voice acting.
so, like, like, they actually also did cover a little bit about Lady's father, who tried to open, like, the gates of hell with the amulets in 3. in Mundus, like you see him going insane during that episode, that 6 episodes, and kind of like turning into that clown figure he turns into.
Yeah, but it doesn't work. The problem is if hell is actually, it's okay. It's all right. It's like you visit like in Arkansas. Hell is Arkansas. And it's like, well, why was it so bad? Then he tried to get there. What's the problem here? It doesn't compute. It doesn't make any
Oh
sense.
no,
Like,
like I have a ton of issues. Like my biggest issues are like the existence of the lesser demons, the Makai. It just muddies the story and creates like unneeded moral ambiguity that just complicates things. Because I thought about it. Like if you really, really think about it, like they're not safer on Earth than they are in hell. Like they're better off just being there, dying from disease. Like because on Earth they will be killed immediately, as they did get killed immediately the moment they were found out. And the vice president was like, "What?"
yeah, backed by the evil corporation.
Uh, I don't know. Like what evil corp? Oh, you mean the one that came in the end? Some Umbra Corp
Yeah,
or?
yeah, yeah, yeah. At the very end, yeah, they show the president, but then behind him is the big building, and
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is that the evil company from Devil May Cry 2?
I don't know.
I'd have to go back. You know, that's not my favorite game. I hate Devil May Cry 2.
It is spammy as all heck.
You just press buttons and like sometimes you'll get the power up and then Infested Chopper, which is like the best boss for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it doesn't. It's just a problem. Mixed metaphors. It's like you can't have it both ways. This is kind of like my issue. Do you remember the movie Turning Red? And it was like my biggest problem with that film was a similar thing where it's like you have too many metaphors going on, and if you try to think about these things cohesively, logically, so you're not just splitting your head going, oh, and here's one path for metaphor, and here's what you have to think of it cohesively as a whole. They don't. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work together, and I think that's the problem here because it's like, well, so lay them open hell is a bad thing? Question mark. It's like, why are we trying so hard then?
Well,
What's
I
even the
mean, they
point of all this?
established that Mundus is a thing and his armies are a thing, and even the non-violent demons hate him. So it's like, yeah, they establish hell is a bad place and demons are prone to anger because Dante even said when he was under the effects of Devil Trigger, like, you know, he was feeling like a surge of negative emotions.
I guess that's different though from the existential threat it is in the video games, where it's like if we don't deal with hell right now, all life is going to be wiped out.
Oh yeah, well, in the video games, it's a lot simpler because you didn't have this like added element. Like, you know, there are good demons, like Trish becomes good, and Sparta became good, and Dante and Nero are good, with Virgil like just being Virgil.
Yeah, but there are exceptions, right? That's not the rule, and the show kind of tries to establish that actually there is this underclass that are mostly good demons, and they're all right. they're like I don't want to get you demonetized, so I'm going to control myself. It's obvious
yeah, yeah. Everyone knows. Like,
Yeah.
people have already pointed out what they're supposed to represent. Yeah, like the whole like thing was supposed to be like, you know, like it has a whole 2000s vibe. The whole thing is like a metaphor for like the war on terror. President Brandt, or whatever his name is, Kevin Conroy's character, is supposed to be like a cooler version of Dick Cheney, and the other guy is just a puppet president, like people said George Bush was. You know, it's like the whole thing. It matches completely. It's just weird seeing that stuff in 2025 because
it does. It feels almost like ancient history, like there's some kind of weird artifact.
Yeah, I know. It's like this was the stuff like, you know, I heard growing up. Like, but it is kind of nostalgic in a way.
Yes, you almost wish for some of those problems back in the 2000s than some of the problems we have now.
Yeah. So yeah, like so like the whole thing is a metaphor for like post 9/11, like the post 9/11 climate in the 2000s, which is when like Devil May Cry was like, first came out, was like a 2000s PS2 era.
Yeah, I want it's 2002 maybe? I can look
Yeah.
it up. DMC first game when 2001, August 2001. So there you
Yeah,
go.
so like exact timing.
Yeah, that seems to be one of the big things that people, with the culture war stuff. It kind of touches upon it somewhat, and people were like, let's not do this.
Well, the thing
let's
is,
not let's not go there, guys.
it doesn't exist in the games, and then you already had like Castlevania, which like has a lot more religious stuff going on than Devil May Cry ever does, and
Yeah.
it's like they like like you don't see the cross as a weapon, you don't see the Grand Cross, you don't like they don't do any of that cool stuff they do with like Christian things in the games, like
No,
in the Devil May Cry show.
no,
No,
exactly.
I mean
Exactly.
Castlevania.
Okay. I kind of knew what you were going, but it's like DMC is a wonderful franchise, and some parts I love about it is it's like it's very metal on the outside. You got the heavy metal, you got the heavy metal music,
Oh,
sometimes a little
can
bit of
I
but
I
the
gotta yeah.
on the
Uh,
inside of it, it's like warm and cheesy. It's like family drama. It's a little hokey.
oh yeah, I love the music. The music and the battle music is the best part. And DMC show is not canon, it's an alternate universe.
Is that the official position? I know I was reading some people on Twitter argue about this.
It is an alternate universe. Like, Lady and Dante meet at completely different times. Dante always knew he was the son of Sparta. Like, and, just like little things like that. It's not like, so it's like the real world blended with the DMC lore,
Uh,
essentially.
Here's my question for you, Dash. How much of what we're complaining about, people are complaining about the show, is Shakar?
Yeah, Adi Shankar.
How much is it that? How much is it Netflix?
How much is like Netflix like responsible for the stuff?
Yeah, for the creative decisions. Like definitely the lack of budget. I think
Well, I mean, Netflix kind of like gives a lot of their creators a lot of leeway. They don't like, they're not like Amazon, where like they kind of like have these like quotas in place, which I think Amazon is in the process of getting rid of. Like Netflix, from what I understand, like they let people make what they think they want, and then like that's why you have like all these Netflix shows with like mixed quality and stuff like that. So Netflix like doesn't really like mandate that shows have a particular themes, but like certain of their creators like Mike Flanagan and stuff like that, like they'll have like similarities between their projects. At least I could be completely wrong about that, but that's just what it seems like from an outsider's perspective.
I just don't know. I don't have any more information than you do. I'm just curious because I know that before he did cast, he was working on these adaptations of Capcom properties. He did work on that Voltron show, and that wasn't bad. That seemed and that so it's like it's like this guy should be capable of making stuff that's more like this, but instead he's giving us this kind of like edgelord,
I did not know
this
he was
edgelord stuff.
involved with Voltron. I know like that was very well received.
Shankar.
Hey, Troubled Cat, how's it going? I invited him onto the show. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he was, but Google tells me that it's the same studio, so I could be wrong.
Yeah, so like he's done a couple of projects of. He also did this this live action series called Guardians of the Guardians of Justice, which was kind of a spoof on Watchmen.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, it was a live action thing where like the Superman of that world kills himself, and like the Batman of that world is kind of like has to figure it out.
Oh,
Like,
that was that big comic adaptation that went no. Oh, my brain is
no,
so
that's Jupiter's Legacy.
okay.
It's okay. It came out around the same time, but completely different.
You read me pretty well though. Then we seem to be on the same wavelength. That's pretty good.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was very upset when Jupiter's Legacy got canceled.
It was hardly given a chance.
It was really fucking good too.
I like the anime adaptation that they made with it too. That one was really
the Super
good.
Crooks.
Yeah, Super Crooks is excellent. Excellent.
That first episode was crazy when he accidentally kills like everyone in that town.
Yeah.
It was like
Dark.
Final Destination levels of like destruction.
Did you like the action? Did you like the action scenes? The fight scenes in this?
Oh yeah, the action scenes were pretty cool. The voice acting was pretty cool. Like lots of fighting and stuff. Though I'm not sure why the Vatican security didn't have guns. From what I understand, the Vatican is very well armed.
I didn't think about that, but you are right. You're right.
No, like I hear they
thing to keep around.
I mean, it's not like something people think, but like I hear like the Vatican has tons of munitions, like tons and tons. Like they kind of have to.
Yeah, gotta. I would have to imagine so. So yeah, no, we'll have to see. I thought Johnny did a decent job with Dante.
Yeah, I think he did a good. People saying he sounded too much like Nero. I think he sounded like Dante personally.
I mean, like the sound of his voice, obviously, and the inflections. I mean, there's not a lot he can do about that. But I thought like the performance was very accurate. So kind of like, oh yeah, this is kind of how Dante would sound. This is kind of how Dante would act. He's a little goofy. Maybe some people are saying maybe a little bit too cocky, a little bit too confident. I don't know.
It's weird because like he's playing like a different character from like the same series, and like he has to adjust because like he had the Nero personality already down, and now he has to try and mimic like Langdon.
Wouldn't that be interesting if they bring in Nero, but they have Ruben Langdon play him?
That would be funny. That would be funny, but like, how would they? I mean, like the timing doesn't add up. Like
I don't know. Time machine.
Time travel. Yeah,
Time
maybe
travel.
maybe they'll make Nero more like a Trunks character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just make it crazier. Oh man, DNC fans gonna flip.
That's how this adaptation is. Everything is different because Nero was screwing around with the timelines.
Oh wow, that Nero screwed over timelines, so Virgil joined Mundus willingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's amazing, like like Shankar is getting like freaking like destroyed on X by the DNC fans.
Totally, completely.
Yeah. And he's like saying that like he wasn't trying to be like political or have religious stuff in, and it's like no, like there is stuff. And honestly, as far compared to Castlevania, I thought the political and religious stuff was kind of tame.
Yeah, it was toned down.
Yeah, compared to that.
Yeah, and it was mostly most of it was in that last episode.
Yeah, like with the vice president, and I guess the part when like he murdered the innocent demons. But like I said, they had nowhere else to go. Like imagine like they would just be held and contained by this Darkon group. Like that's the other alternative to besides killing them.
Yeah, there's so much swearing. I think
Oh
people
yeah, like I already saw this funny video. I'm going to pull it up. I think I bookmarked it. Yes. All right. I want to get your reaction to this. And I want you to tell me if you think this is an accurate reflection of the show. Okay. We're going to play it.
It's I don't know if it's not on screen. I don't hear anything in case you clicked it.
Did I pick the wrong thing? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, I'll restart.
Maybe. Are you fucking crying?
It's only the rain.
It already stopped fucking raining.
Devils never cry.
I see. Maybe somewhere out there, even a fucking devil may fucking cry when he loses a fucking loved one.
Oh, jeez.
Don't you fucking think?
That's pretty on point. That is kind of how the writing is. That's clever.
That had me laughing hysterically.
Yeah, that's the big difference though between like Devil May Cry versus Resident Evil, because like I said, like Devil May Cry has a bit of a soft center. It has a little bit of that like anime drama kind of thing, and it's like tonally it's just different. I think maybe there's something to it, that maybe there's stuff that people would tolerate in the Castlevania series, and then but this is supposed to be DMC. And so, and just taking one of the best characters in DMC, who has this amazing tragic backstory, and is even into DMC5, she's a huge motivator. Even when like Nero finds out about his dad, and then they just take it and they just every other sentence she's dropping F-bombs.
Yeah,
it just is like it doesn't work.
They really like this version of Lady does not match the game Lady like at all, even with her different backstory. It's just like, it's just too much swearing.
Yeah, and maybe people are tired of that. Maybe we've gotten past, maybe we are past the point where like, oh yeah, it's so adult, so real. There isn't the F-bomb.
I mean, like, I'll be the first person to admit I have a swearing problem. Like I drop F-bombs like all the time.
As most people now do. That's extremely common. I mean, obviously if you use YouTube, you rarely watch a video that doesn't have a few slurs, as it were.
Well, I wouldn't like go. I don't slur. I try to.
Yeah, I was gonna say slur isn't the right word. That doesn't work.
Like just cursing, just cursing in general.
Yeah, I try not to, because I'm Mormon, so it's like if I like it's as the most I can get away with is like crap or fetch or
I see.
dang or yeah, it's pretty weak sauce.
No, Nightcore, I've explained. I do believe Eddie Shankar knew the lore. He just chose not to do his own thing like he normally does. And that seems to be where like a lot of the anger, because the show is like, it has good animation. It has good voice acting. Script could be better. Some story elements completely unnecessary and didn't need to be there in the first place. Maybe give Dante a little bit more screen time, but other than that, it just seems like a pretty mid show.
Yeah, Hideki Kamiya is so funny because he keeps calling people insects, as he likes to do, and it's unclear is he like attacking people because he thinks the show is bad, or he's attacking people because he thinks the show is good. It's unclear.
Who's this?
Hideki Kamiya. Was he the creative producer on DMC, or
So is he? Oh, yeah. So he's defending the show.
Well, no, that's the whole point. He just keeps calling people insects when people are trying to drag him into this.
Ah,
Yeah. He was one of the big designers on DMC. So people are like trying to get him to comment to say do you think the show is terrible or do you think the show is great? And he just spits.
he's
upon
not
them
going
all.
to comment on that, even though he doesn't work for Capcom anymore. He's not going to. He's not going to do that because it would be unprofessional.
Yeah, he's he has some of that class, not like us Americans.
Well, it's like people want him to like take a side, and he's not going to do that. Like his work speaks for itself. Like like the games are on sale right now, so like people can play them and like see for themselves which version they like better.
Yeah, I love Kami. He's a fascinating creator. Do you know? So they're making. I don't know if you seem like a Capcom fan. So have you played Okami?
I have not played Okami.
Okay, well, Okami was one of his babies, and when they made the ports, by the way, the port to the Wii was fantastic, very well done. He hates them. He hates the sequel. He hates the ports. And so there are all these interviews, and they're asking Hideki, so what do you think about them? And he's like, they're terrible. I probably should look up the quote, but it's something like, they're horrible. They're terrible. I hate them. This is the only real sequel. Talking about his game.
Yeah, I wish the guy who created Mega Man and Dead Rising, I wish he'd say that about Dead Rising 4 and that awful remaster Capcom did.
That's the problem with Capcom because they read all these weird signals. Did you ever play Mega Man Legends? How about that?
I know, like Mega Man Legends, people have been starving for a new one for years, and they're never going to make it.
Yeah, we're insane. We're crazy people. The craziest thing was, I remember when I bought a 3DS early because I was looking forward to playing, or at least even playing the demo for Mega Man Legends 3. That was gonna be on 3DS, and I think they did actually release the demo in Japan, but they never did in the US. Anyhow, and the reason why Mega Man Legends 3 never was greenlit, even though people thought it was because they had this website where fans could submit ideas or be polled on like, here's this character. Do you want them to be red or do you want them to be green? And what people didn't know was the game actually hadn't been greenlit for development. They were using the popularity of the website. It's this little fan website, and this is like 2011, maybe 2011. And it's just, people can only be interested in that so long, but Capcom read that as, okay, so people aren't interested in this, so we're not going to do it. And that's classic Capcom. The way they read signals is just beyond frustrating. So if you're any of these fans of these smaller franchises, Mega Man, for example, Beautiful Joe,
Dead Rising, I guess, even though that's one of their bigger franchises, just not as big as Resident Evil.
Yeah, it'll just drive you crazy. You'll go insane. So,
and like a lot of the talent that they shut down like the studio after they made that abomination that was 4. Yeah, I was a big Dead Rising fan, so
I can tell. You ever play the Wii version? You played Dead Rising?
No, I never played the Wii version. The Wii version is just like an inferior port. Though you actually can save certain survivors you can't save in the original game.
You know what's the crazy thing about the Wii port? It's basically a retextured version of Resident Evil 4 because it was the same team and they're a little rushed. So in that game, you have the literal gunplay. It's the same weapons from Resident Evil 4. So it's so funny in the one because it just see him like pull out like I don't know guns, but like pull out like his his Uzi or whatever, just mowing things down. Makes me laugh every time I watch those videos.
Yeah, I know the Wii version has less zombies and stuff, so like definitely like. But I still would rather play the Wii version than play the demake.
Yeah,
very, very harsh things to think about that. Oh my God. You want to talk about like, Crowbat or Crowcat or whatever his name is did an excellent video like showing how inferior D-Make is.
Yeah, they got rid of many of the it's like so many of the extra gameplay that was iconic for that game is just gone. Which is like that's a lot of the flavor, like a lot of the camera stuff, etc.
Yeah.
It's dumb. At Capcom, I love you guys, but you also equally infuriate me.
Anyway, what was your so you already told me what your least favorite part of the show is, and that was probably my thing, is like the whole like, the political metaphors and the Green Day and stuff. But what was your like favorite part of the show?
I did like episode 6. I liked that character. I like Rabbit.
You
Like
like the
Rabbit was
rabbit?
awesome.
Yeah, I kind of already figured the twist about him already when I saw that device on his chest. I figured that he probably might not be a demon.
It was just the execution of it all was really well done, and I was impressed. I just wish there was more of that throughout the show, but at least we got Rabbit.
Yeah, it was like gold. Like they didn't give the twist away too far in, I guess, and like they hinted about like the twist, but then as they were revealing it, you've kind of figured it out.
And I like the toying of the idea also with DMC, like how people can be corrupted or transformed. I think that's interesting. Because then it's like it's not strictly just like hell versus humans. There's like some, things can switch over. And I like the idea of playing around with like humans becoming more like hell, because obviously we have people from hell becoming more like humans. So why not? So I always like them when they kind of play around with that stuff. And maybe I'm a closeted furry or something. I just really like the character.
Oh man, it's funny, but yeah, not much. I could say. What are your speculations on the second season? You think? How do you think do you think we'll see Trish in the next season, or?
The timing is weird, so it's hard to tell how far, because it's like, because part of me is almost like this thing is almost like taking place 3, but I think you said it was almost like an alternate universe 4.
It is confirmed alternate universe.
Okay, so if it's 4 and 5, that's older. So if that's more older, so I guess they could rush up more of the characters. I gotta think, because especially if they only ordered enough episodes for 2 seasons, Nero has to show up. Even if he's just a teaser, he's got to show up at some point. You think?
Yeah.
I think Trish probably will show up.
Dante's mom already showed up, and like she's an exact replica of his mom.
Yeah, she has a surprising amount of screen time, actually.
Yeah, I actually like that. I actually like that they showed a lot of like the family life with her. Like even Sparta too. Like, they're both very like, they're more like lore characters. Hey, Orc, how's it going? They're more like lore characters, and in this, they got like more screen time, both of them.
Yeah, that's kind of like if they were to remake the DMC games, do remasters, like, because over time those games did become more and more family themed, and so that kind of makes sense. Like, okay, so we want to show more time of the influence of like his parents on him, and I think that is a good change. Like that is an improvement.
Oh, absolutely. I think that is one like thing. I bet I can even get like Leon and well, maybe not Leon, but maybe even Dante to agree on that. I'm just talking about like some of my friends that really hated the show.
Yeah, obviously Dante's going to be freed. That would be fascinating. They're like, no, Dante is not coming back. He lost.
Oh no, yeah, he's just they just frozen until the plot needs him again.
They are going to need a heck of a good explanation for why Virgil of all people would start siding
with Mundus. Yeah, they're definitely going to have to explain that, and how we can like shift between Neo Angelo and his Virgil, and like what form is he going to take when like fighting Dante?
Yeah, because that's kind of, if Dante is the dweeb, right, of the brothers, then Virgil is the edgelord.
Well, yeah, Virgil is the edgelord. Like he's all about power, and he embraces like the demon side more than like Dante. Well, Dante embraces more the human side, and that's kind of like the big conflict between the two. Virgil's all about power, and Dante's like just all about like freedom.
So if he's working with Mundus, it has to be some kind of long con, right? He's doing something for his own benefit somehow.
Yeah, so he became Neo Angelo in DMC 3 when he tried to challenge Mundus after he got trapped in hell. He presumably lost and then got mind controlled. And then after Dante defeats Neo Angelo Virgil, he became ultra weak, which is why he needed Nero's arm in Devil May Cry 5, because he was dying.
Yeah, he was like split up into a whole bunch of people.
Oh, that's when he split up.
Yeah, hate when it happens.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
It's pretty weird. But
all of a sudden, I'm one person and I'm three.
Yeah, I liked V. I like V as a character. We'll never see him again, but it was like, but I'm sure like they kind of like hinted that there is still it'll be in full Virgil.
Yeah, I like the idea of redeeming Virgil, kind of, sort of.
It was kind of earned. He's a fan favorite character. I mean, he's gotten thousands of people killed and stuff, but we could brush that aside.
It's anime flavored. They do that kind of thing. They kind of look past. Well, I mean, he did commit genocide, but he's a really nice guy.
It's like Vegeta too. Like, there was like a whole filler episode of Dragon Ball Z where him and Nappa killed an entire planet.
Yeah. He's an international war criminal. He's just palling around. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, there's a great My Little Pony meme called "Twilight Sparkle Justifies Evil." I'll see if I can find the Know Your Memes page on that, because it's a pretty funny one.
So I bought the games on Capcom, right? For Steam, because I don't own them for Steam. I have them kind of here and there and everywhere, but I did not have them for Steam. So I got them from Steam. But parts of the HD collection do not work, and 4 does not work. And I guess 4 is catastrophically bad. Like, it's a flip of a coin if you can get that game to run on your PC or not. And I guess it's been this way for years, since like 2020, and they just never fixed it.
I hate when like ports don't work. See, I'm trying to find it
has something to do with the engine. It has to do with something with that earlier, I forget, the engine they now use for Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, and such. That is an earlier version of that, and they also used it on 2 Resident Evil games and like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Anyways, it plays horribly with modern PCs.
Okay, here I'll explain the meme right here. Old one from my Brony days.
Okay, it's not on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, I was just checking.
Yeah, it's just making fun of this panel from one of the IDW comics. So, like, there's all of these where, like, people will just put, like, a villain from something and have Twilight just defend the actions.
I'm not going to give you my My Little Pony voice impression.
Oh no! Oh, here I'll embarrass myself and try. Oh wait, what's this? Oh, tripping over. Vegeta may have committed the occasional war crime, but he's a changed man. He loves his wife. Sure, he made the wrong choice, but he dated for the right reasons. He was trying to help his wife. We've all done something silly for love, right? Yeah.
It's not inaccurate. That is kind of how it is.
Let's see. Mother Brain. Sure, she made the wrong choice, but she made it for the right reason. She was just trying to help her friends. We've all done. Funny.
It does kind of make sense for Star Wars because George Lucas was kind of like, he was a weebo before there were weebos.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It kind of makes sense that he would have his irredeemable character be redeemable in Darth Vader.
Yeah. No, Anakin's like one of my favorite characters. And that's also kind of why he established the two personas. The kind of like Anakin represents like the good, and like the Vader is like just like, you know, him spiraling this dark persona that he became.
Yeah, there's the old dark, you know, there's some good Disney comics that they've done with it's technically the Marvel imprint for Star Wars since the purchase, but I loved Dark Horse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Did you read Cry of Shadows?
Yeah, the Dark Horse Star Wars comics, especially with Vader, were usually like very good. Can't remember the name of the comic, but there's one story I really liked where it shows like it's like half the book is Darth Vader, he's on a mission, then the other half is like what Anakin would have been like if he had taken the other path.
Oh yeah. But I really liked Cry of Shadows, where you had this clone trooper that turned against the Jedi early on in the war, who then gets inducted by the Empire, and then just really likes Vader, and then just gets absolutely horrified at just how fucking evil Vader is. By the end of it, it was a really good comic.
Dark Horse did a good job overall. Whatever.
They're a good publisher. In my opinion, like you hardly hear any complaints about them. They also published Berserk.
Yeah, they did the reprint for Berserk. You're right. Did they do the original print in America for Berserk?
I think so. I think they have. They've just started remastering it. That's all because it's Berserk.
More edgelords.
Yeah, and someone did mention the possibility of Ani Shankar adapting Berserk. I think Berserk is one of those things where you're going to have to it's like there's a reason why it's gotten so few adaptations. A lot of people aren't really brave enough to really touch Berserk.
Oh, well, it's like the Man of La Mancha, Don Quixote, same problem. Any story that features SA as a major theme, it's 40-foot, that's a 40-foot pole situation.
Did you see Uber Blot on Amazon completely skipped an entire arc just because of the sexual stuff in the story?
It's so important though, because it's his framing. Yeah, whatever. I'm done.
Oh yeah,
I'm done.
For Berserk. But the thing is, they skipped important stuff, and the Uberblatt and the anime suffers for it. They skipped an entire arc, the entire beginning arc, the build up to the reveal. Now, I suggest reading the manga. Yen Press is actually remastering it and reprinting it right now. I got to get the next volume.
Have you heard that they might continue Berserk? There have been, I guess, the people that technically own the...
Oh, it's already being continued by a new author.
Yeah, did that come out?
Yeah, I think so. I think the new chapters already came.
Oh wow, I'm so behind. I'm such a fake
I'm so hey, I still haven't finished. I'm on volume 11 and stuff. I just know I just got caught up on the golden age because of the movies.
That one anime was so bad.
The CGI one.
Yeah,
I did not follow through with it.
I remember being excited for it to come out, and then you could probably watch the disappointment on my face. I was just like, "What the heck is this?"
I heard there's oh I think I hear they're actually doing the original chapters of the Swordsman arc, like
That'd
the
be cool.
original with the Slug Baron.
They did it so well with Golden, like oh, you just I almost wish there was an
Those
alternate
movies were
universe.
great. Oh
You just
man,
yeah, I wish there was in some alternative universe that just continued. It didn't just stop. It
yeah.
just
Well, I do
continued
know
on.
they are working on the dark Black Swordsman. They're doing the Dark Swordsman arc with the Slug Baron. At some point, it's probably going to be another movie or a short anime series, but I think they're going to cover all the stuff where he meets the pixie. Pip is the name, I think.
Oh, I'm gonna fail.
No, it's
Fairy.
okay, but we know the character.
Puck.
Puck, yeah, Puck.
I'm gonna lose my DMC card and my Berserk card today. This is really bad.
Yeah, so it is going to be interesting. Like, people seem to be really more upset with the DMC anime treatment than they were ever on the Castlevania stuff. Though I was really pissed at Nocturne and the shit I was hearing from Nocturne, because like they completely botched like the Richter timeline with Nocturne. But I'm not sure how much Shankar was actually involved in that one.
Yeah. Once Warren Ellis was gotten rid of, I think the quality kind of went downhill.
Well, I stopped when I heard what happened to Alucard. Like, I didn't even bother with season 3 when I heard about Alucard getting
that was
flowered.
Weird. That was messed up.
That was messed up. Like, you do that to my favorite character. Respect my favorite character. Do not like assault him.
Alucard's your favorite character?
Yes.
He is pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, he has the best game. Symphony of the Night is the best Castlevania game.
That is true. That is true.
Has yet to be topped. It just has the best graphics. It has the best music. It's got like the best voice acting ever. Die, monster! You don't belong in this world.
I think they redid the voice acting.
They did, and it's not as good. I like the bad dub. I like the bad dub better. It's so iconic.
That's how I feel when they remaster PS1 games that had like old voiceovers. I'm like, no, it was so great. Like Star Ocean 2. I was like, no, you have to understand the horrible voice acting is part of its charm.
Magnificent, but now feel my unbridled wrath. Oh man. You know, fun fact, the guy who voiced Richter in the original dub is the guy who played Chris Redfield in the original Resident Evil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like, you know, he's like the king of 90s bad voice acting.
Yeah, well, Ruben Langdon, of course, he did play, I think he did play Chris Red. Was it Chris? It was either him or the other guy. And then he also played Ken. He was Ken Masters. And all that was taken away from him when he got kicked. He never was like officially canceled. He just kind of stopped being invited.
Well, no, I know. I think it was the director of Street Fighter particularly kicked him out, from what I understand.
That sucks.
Yeah, but apparently, from what I understand, he, like, you know, the Devil May Cry people, he's still kind of in. I don't know. I just like, I think the whole thing is freaking stupid. Like, you know, just like there's no like freedom of speech in the voice acting community, and it sucks.
Yeah, I was right. He was motion capture guy for Chris Redfield. Okay. I actually got that one right. That was nice.
Yeah, probably in Code Veronica, because
yep. Yeah. He also was it for DMC, not DMC. Oh my gosh, stop it! Come on, break.
Resident Evil. You got this, Peter.
5. Resident Evil 5. He was also doing the motion work for Redfield. You can look it up on the Capcom wiki for him. He's like in a ton of titles.
Oh yeah, long-standing relationship, which makes like the whole like distancing of him so cowardly and so like heinous. It's the same thing. Like you know how I feel about the whole Vic thing and
Oh,
stuff. So
I share those feelings.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah. So I think we've talked like pretty much all of the criticisms and dissection we can about our main topics. So we can either like continue, or I guess we can end the show here. I'm not sure. I'm debating. Do you have anything to do?
I'm okay right now. Typically this time I would be taking care of my grandparents. That's kind of what I do in the day. I'm a carer now, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But I'm having a pretty bad pain day, so no, not really. I have an interview I have to do at 4 o'clock my time.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
But other than that, no. I'm gonna stroke my ego a little bit and tell you a bit more about Ruben Langdon.
Okay, yeah. Tell me. I'd love to hear more about Ruben Langdon.
Let me tell, and then I'm going to and the wonderful person who interviewed him, who was so amazing, who did that?
Oh man, who could it be?
Who could it be? But he's
chill away,
interesting.
my friend. Chill away.
The thing about his UFO thing, though, it isn't like what you think it is. So like when you hear someone like they're into UFO, like truther stuff, what do you think of? What comes to mind?
Like, I don't know, like life on other planets, Area 51, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not what he does. He has a whole YouTube show podcast. He covers people who have spiritual experiences with aliens. And then what they do is he gets people who will go into almost a meditative trance state. And he believes that they are now communicating with some kind of being, either in our dimension or outside our dimension. And then he talks with them and then he records it.
Interesting. Wow.
It is different. It is different. His explanation, I mean, it doesn't seem any weird. It kind of fits in, like, it almost seems like it's his religion in some ways.
It's okay. Like, I won't judge.
No, I'm not judging either. He explained it. It's not harming anyone.
Oh yeah, like it's absolutely like it's not like it's like some like like extortion or cult-like behavior like in Scientology. If that's just his personal like spiritual beliefs, like go for it. Like who am I to judge? I'm religious.
His mom was in a cult.
Oh.
Yeah, that's something I learned during my research. She got pulled into a cult there for a number of years.
Yeah, also I plugged you.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't do it because I didn't know you were coming. I normally do that in the description.
Oh, that's okay. You're more than fine. I appreciate you asking. I wanted to be able to make this commitment because you were so kind to ask.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Like, like I know, like I really wanted to have my friend Dante come on because he is the big DMC guy. Like he named his channel after Dante. Like, of course. Yeah, Dante's Rant Room, if you're interested. He's a very good friend of mine. We've actually met in person.
Cool.
Yeah, we actually had me and this other YouTuber, Andy Matrix, we had the Taku Trio show. We sometimes still do it, but not as frequently. But it was like the three of us just talking about anime and gaming stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. So, you were saying more about Langdon?
Yeah. So, he is in way more things than I realized. Almost the video game stuff was almost like side work to him because he started as a stunt performer in Japan. He didn't speak he spoke a little bit of Japanese because he had an airport job. Basically, just moved to Japan. He just did it. He's like 19. He doesn't know anyone. And he got a job doing stud work for the Super Sentai shows. And that kind of
Oh,
yeah, and he did that for like a decade, and then that like more than 7 years or so, 8 years. And then that's what led him to eventually going across to the United States to help with Power Rangers. And then that's how he met Johnny Bosch. And he at the same time, he also was doing like stunt work for the movie Avatar and Pirates of the Caribbean and a bunch of Jackie Chan films. He knows Jackie
Avatar, the
Chan,
James
apparently.
Cameron,
The
or
James Cameron one, yeah, the
okay,
James
yeah.
Cameron. Yeah, the Jake Sully. He was the guy doing all the stuff for Jake Sully.
Oh wow, that's big then. That is really big. Like, formerly the highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah. No, his stories about all the stuff are amazing. He's like he's just a super interesting guy. Like it's just fascinating. Some people
Yeah,
are fascinating like that. He's one of them.
it's amazing he has any haters to begin with.
I know, but that's how I feel about Vic Mignogna too. I feel like the nicest
Well,
guys, they're kind of almost easy targets.
well, I mean, like, like people have like said such like heinous things about him and his behavior, and like, so like, those rumors and story. Langdon doesn't really have any of that.
Nope. Nope. It's funny. When the first time I interviewed him, we were, he made this point. He's like, we were talking about, his aliens thing, and we're talking about his subreddit and how it hates him so much. And that has actually shifted a little bit. It's funny because that actually has shifted now with the DMC show, where it's almost like people are like, maybe we judged you too harshly. But anyhow,
I know people. Yeah, like it's so funny, the revisionism. People saying, "Oh, DMC Devil May Cry really wasn't that bad." I'm like, I still think it was a lot worse as far because they completely butchered the lore.
yeah.
And I mean, like, people do not know. Like, you want to talk about political shoehorning and edgelord stuff? That was DMC.
Yeah, no, and the point was like no one cared about Ruben and his UFO stuff or he's like into big wellness stuff. It makes sense when like, oh, his parents are kind of hippies. That's kind of what he grew up in. He's into fitness and martial arts. That kind of fits. And people didn't care about any of that. It was only till when he had some political opinions that all of a sudden people started freaking out. And I find that interesting because it's like, so the kooky UFO views, that wasn't the problem. It was that he votes the wrong way. Okay.
No, it's the coof. Yeah, the coof. Like, he is like, this vaccine, I don't know. Cancel.
Yeah. And he wasn't even, and he says he wasn't strictly anti-vax. He just wasn't certain about it, is what he says.
I know it's ridiculous. It's just like the whole groupthink hysteria that was going on at the time. It's like, bro, you see the same thing with where like people try to scare people not to get invested in AI. Like, oh, you can't do AI. If you use AI technology, you're a bad, meanie person. I've been messing with AI a lot.
There's not much room for nuance, and there's not any room for like moving outside the tribes. So it's like you have to be with us 100%.
Yeah, like do I think AI should have regulations? Yeah, like do I think like there's an ethical way? Should it replace actual hard work and art? No, but like there is a purpose. Like just look at this really sexy dash attack background in the stream right now. It completely AI generated.
With his impressive musculature.
Yes, I'm very big on that. I don't deny, but yeah, but no, this is like one of my favorites though. Like the whole thing, especially with the yellow eyes, kind of makes me almost look like a vampire.
Yeah, no, it just like it is sad, and it's like maybe part of this is because those halcyon days of like the 90s and the early 2000s where everything was new and you were making games with a few dozen people, those are gone, and we're now in this much more complicated, much more larger corporate world. Back in the day, when Ruben started, it was like a little bit, everyone could do a little bit of everything because everything was new and there was a lot more experimentation and just that kind of attitude. You know,
I do think the corporatization of gaming has really like hurt it. It's hurt like the passion, and it's made like it's why a lot of people are going back to older games because like the art. It's just like they're more appealing because it was like a laxer environment in those days. You had more creative control. You could make almost anything, and like it's kind of like relates to what's going on with Nintendo right now, also with like the pricing and how they're charging for everything.
yeah. No, Gene Park had this excellent point. Maybe I was telling you about this already on Twitter, but he has this excellent point where he was talking about that back in the day when they were going to come out with the Wii. It was actually Reggie Fils-Aimé, who's then everyone loves Reggie. If you're a
I
Nintendo
know.
fan, you know Reggie.
We miss Reggie so much. I was even talking last night when I went to role playing how awesome Reggie was. Like, you know, it's like he was probably like the best PR guy. You know, you're a good PR guy when like even like someone who's like skeptical as me can't say anything bad about him.
Yeah, Gene was saying, you know, he talks about in Reggie's book, he talks about that he had to convince Nintendo Japan to put Wii Sports as a tie-in title because he said the general opinion at Nintendo was, well, we put work into this. Of course, we want to get money for it. And it's definitely a different cultural attitude. But I would say against that, though, that's saying, well, this is just Japanese corporations. But how does that explain a company like Sega? For example, Sega allows a huge amount of like fan and mod communities. I mean, they allow stuff that Nintendo would have a heart attack.
Like
they even thought about it.
The fact that they haven't even pulled the plug on Project 06 is like amazing in and of itself. They have to know about Project 06.
They haven't gone after anyone for the Sonic Unleashed recompiles.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. Like that they were like amazing. They'd be able to do it. I was watching a YouTuber like they replaced Chip with like the Vocaloids mascot.
My favorite was where they replaced it with Doom. So said someone had used AI to get Doom's voice from Shadow the Hedgehog. It's so funny.
Oh, that has I have to look that up. That it's got to be Sonic. You have to go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's just different. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to give Nintendo that much wiggle room. But I mean, if you've been a long time Nintendo fan, they play cuddly. The PR is very cuddly. We're the family friendly ones. But if you know anything about the business, how they do things, it's like mafia tar. It's like mafia tech.
Well,
I mean,
just what they're doing to Pocket Pair is disgusting.
Yeah, they went after. This is a decade ago, but they threw some poor Japanese gal for writing a doujinshi. Is it called doujinshi?
Doujinshi.
Okay. Yeah, of some Nintendo character, and they actually got on the Japanese police. Got to get her. Got to catch that lady. Got to pin her down. Got to throw her in the slammer.
All that for erotic fan fiction. Like,
oh, you know, it's.
I mean, that's dime a dozen nowadays. Like, you know.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing too, because it's like generally in Japan, the culture around that is like, well, they're not harming anyone, and it could be worse. So we're just gonna let them.
Oh yeah, like do they actually sell a lot of the fan porn stuff like that? That's actually like allowed. I know. I saw one online which it was Beerus and Boma, and I know like you being like a big Mormon, you're probably like not. I mean, I understand. Like, I am a different. Like, I know God will judge me when it is his time. But yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, like saying like that shit's out there.
I understand.
This shit's out there. That's all I'm saying.
They are kind of ruthless, though, Nintendo. Like, they're on a mission to destroy game preservation. I mean, and
disgusting. Though I was very happy to see that they are going to be bringing Path of Radiance to their online service because that game is worth a fortune now. I'm lucky to have a copy. Not others are. You have to pay like $300 just to get a GameCube copy of that game.
Yeah, the Wii version. I mean, the Wii sequel is almost as hard to find, if not harder.
Oh yeah, Radiant Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily I have that too. I love the Ike games. Radiant Dawn is pretty rough though. Like it's very grindy, like the level system. I prefer Path of Radiance, a lot easier to play. Like, just better flow. Path of Radiance is like one of my favorite games.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel kind of. I like modding. I've gone into modding in the last few years because if you're poor and you can't afford any new games, might as well find ways to use your old games. And Nintendo, they're just looking for any opportunity to take down emulators. Because if you know the history of emulators, it was Nintendo trying to take on a case with emulation that brought it to the Supreme Court, which basically created a pathway that emulators became legal here in the US. So they are looking for loads of opportunities. And I think some of these Nintendo emulator guys, like, I don't know about Ryujinx. Well, yeah, some of the people like with Ryujinx.
Dolphin.
And Yuzu especially. Yuzu was because they were paying for Patreon subscriptions to features, and they had like a place on their site to help you find ROMs. And so it's just like, no, you guys are making this too easy for Nintendo. So it's like, let's not do that. And it's so weird because game preservation is on. It's just so precarious. It all rests so
The
precariously.
corporations don't actually care. Xbox was doing a great job, and then they dropped the ball with the game preservation, like making with the backwards compatibility 360. And now, like, you look at the Nintendo Switch 2, and a lot of games are going to have compatibility problems, like Switch 1 games that presumably you can still download on the thing. So it's going to be just like, the Steam games that don't work.
Yeah, and they're emulating. That's emulation. Because typically that's actually kind of interesting because typically Nintendo consoles, their architecture between generations is actually very similar, especially when you went from like GameCube to Wii and Wii to Nintendo.
Well, that was intentional. That was so they could have backwards compatibility.
Yeah, but Switch 2 doesn't have that. It's essentially an entirely new machine.
Built from the ground up, my ass.
Yeah, well, the Switch is basically it's like a slightly downgraded 2015 NVIDIA tablet. I'm not joking. It's just like was like the cheap version of the NVIDIA Shield when they came out, and they basically just took that.
Well, no, like the hardware
Switch.
is extremely run down. That's why I was really looking forward to it. Now I'm going back and forth whether or not I want to shell $500 for that bundle, if and when it ever even becomes available, just because of like how awful they've botched this PR. Just like, I know Cass, Cult Classic Cage, she says she's going to get it, and she's been on Nintendo's ass. Like, she's even released a scathing new video out now, which I definitely going to watch later today.
I need to do that too. I like Cassie. She's fun.
Yeah, she's great.
Spicy Puerto Rican. No, I always feel weird supporting Nintendo or buying Nintendo products because I'm like, am I feeding the beast? Is that what I'm doing here?
Well, people are saying like this is all your fault for buying Tears of the Kingdom at $70.
It is a little bit, yeah. A little bit.
But it's Zelda, man.
It's like the same map.
But there's the sky and the underground, and
there was sky. There's not as much sky though, and then the underground. It is interesting, but I don't know. I didn't think it helped, but my favorite stuff with Nintendo this last generation has definitely been Xenoblade. So when I think of the Switch, that's usually what I'm thinking of.
I heard the port of X is fantastic.
It's really.
I've heard a lot of
good job. One of my issues though with it is they only fixed some of the faces, which is kind of confusing because they adopted an anime style, kind of like what they did with the remake of one. Sorry about my dogs.
Oh no, it's okay, perfectly fine.
And so only some of the faces have the anime style, and then some of the other faces have the original style, and it's a little bit jarring sometimes.
Yeah.
It's good though. I mean, I recommend it to people. Well, I mean, it's Xenoblade, so I mean, if you played one of the games, you kind of know what you're getting. Do you
Yeah.
are you a JRPG fan, Dash?
Yeah, and I am a JRPG fan, and I have tried to get into Xenoblade. They're just like very long. Like, it took me hours just to get through like 1/3 inch of the entire game.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just like, and especially me being a streamer now, like, I try, like, the long games are like very difficult. It took me like almost 100 hours to complete Unicorn Overlord and stream it in its entirety for my channel. How I stopped even numbering the streams at that point.
Who did you choose as your queen in
Scarlet?
Scarlet?
Yeah, I went with the basic like choice. I would have gone with one of the elves.
That's like vanilla ice cream.
Oh, come on, cute church girl. Like,
Everyone likes vanilla.
No, it was great. It fit the story well. The edge fit the story. I would have probably would have gone with the dark elf.
I ended up going with the. You know what? That furry accusation I gave myself. I may be one because I went with the fox. I went with the fox girl, so maybe I do have a problem.
Oh, hey, nothing wrong. Hey, just okay. Let people judge. Let people judge. I let
really
all my,
me.
I've let all my laundry out in the open. People like, I've kind of like put weirdness as part of my brand. And I think that has kind of helped protect me, not like John Del Raz, who's completely ashamed of what he actually is.
Accept your weeboisms. Just enjoy it.
Yeah,
just enjoy it. It's hard when you're right wing, though. I will say, because I did actually have JDA on my show, which is a bit of an odd choice, but I've actually been friendly with JDA for a while now, even though we disagree.
Yeah, well, he's made a ton of enemies in the community.
The problem is, though, that JDA, and this is something I knew back when I moonlighting writing for conservative media, there's a certain kind of stereotype you almost have to fit for that audience. And it's not one that's very friendly to video games or anime or furries. Or furries, especially not furries.
Oh yeah, like of course, like I don't really like give a shit. Like that's why I brand myself as more of a right-leaning centrist.
I have this terrible problem. I need to offend people. I'm just constantly devil's advocate.
Yeah,
it's a bad habit. No, people have saying how terrible games are lately. Maybe it's because I'm not playing AAA as much, but I don't feel quite that way.
Oh, there's still pretty good Japanese games like you dig from it. People are just hyper focusing on the Ubi slop and the EA trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, like outside of Ubi slop and stuff, there are like fantastic games like out there. I'm playing Kazan right now. Fantastic. You should give it a try. It's really good. You into Souls?
Kazan?
You into Souls?
I like them. I'm not very good at them. I got through Elden Ring. I got halfway through.
Well, I think this one should be a little bit easier because you have like a skill tree in this one. So you do have like some moves, but it beautiful art style, very stylistic anime like thing. It's a prequel to a MMO game called Dungeon Fighter Online. Yeah, Kazan, the First Berserker is called.
Oh, okay. I just see it on Steam right now. I just typed it in because you said that. The art looks cool.
It's very cool. Like they fight a lot of these dragonoid monsters are some of the enemies. They look really awesome. I'm right now in the spider cave. And it's I was stuck on a couple of bosses, like a lot. Like the second and third boss were like really, really tough. So I'm wondering how that fourth boss is going to be.
When I play these games, I almost always choose whatever is the magic equivalent, whatever is the easy mode.
Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't have any spells, but this like demon possessing him, like you can use some of his powers, which I guess count as magic.
All right, maybe I'll give it a try. I'm not very good at them. I'm not very good at Souls. Like, I'm terrible at FPS. I wish I was better at fighting games.
Yes, it is a prequel, but you're not required to play the original game, like Dungeon Fighters Online, especially since it's a free-to-play microtransaction thing that's been going on for a decade. So, like, I guess this is their way of like expanding, like using that lore and like making other games with it, kind of like what League of Legends was doing up until they canceled their publishing firm. League of Legends had been making like standalone League of Legends games of multiple genres. Like The Ruined King was an RPG. They made a farm sim. They made a roguelike. They made this like 3D platformer. And it was all based on League of Legends characters. And it fit within the lore. And then like they shut down the publishing arm called like Riot Publishing, I guess.
But the games came out?
Yeah, the games came out, and you can still get them. Like they had the subtitle "A League of Legends Story." They put like it was their way of, I guess, trying to marvel League of Legends and make use of like because League of Legends has like tons and tons of lore that you don't see in the actual game. It's all background information, and so there was a lot to actually work with, and like I guess like the money ran thin, so they shut that down.
Is that like because I remember a lot of those MOBAs, they try to branch out to different things. It's like how we got the show Arcane, which actually is pretty good.
Yeah, well, Arcane, like they didn't cancel Arcane. Those League of Legends shows are still happening, but especially with the second seasons, it's very apparent that the show is a different universe than the actual League of Legends canon. Whereas these games were 100% canon with the League of Legends lore, and Arcane isn't.
I never got the appeal of MOBAs.
I tried getting into League of Legends after Arcane came out. Wasn't for me.
Yeah. My brother, he's really into MOBAs.
Hey, Roxas, yeah, we did talk a lot about the Devil May Cry already, like, talking about like the controversies, like what it did, what was good about it, what wasn't good about it. We did talk about that early on.
Spoilers, the devils do cry in Devil May Cry.
Yes. But yeah, cousin, cool game.
You hear about the Minecraft movie?
I am blown away that actually did well. What is wrong with people?
Lowest common denominator, I guess.
I was watching side scrollers. Apparently, like people are deliberately making messes in the theaters, like kids.
For shame.
Yeah, I know. Stupid. It reminds me when I had to clean up the Minions movie back when I worked in theaters.
People are gross. They don't need encouragement. I used to work a restaurant job, and I think I've told you this on one other time I was on. It was called Gigglebees. It was basically like a local Chuck E. Cheese. And the stuff you would encounter cleaning up. I mean, it was like from H.P. Lovecraft. It was like, someone needs to call Child Protective Services or something. It was horrible. So gross. That Minecraft is interesting because it's like every generation that plays Minecraft thinks they uniquely own Minecraft. So my little kid cousins, they're like, oh, Minecraft, they're kind of like, Minecraft is just ours. It's just kind of for us. But it's also what my adult cousins think, because because they were kids when Minecraft came out.
Minecraft was around when I was in high school, so it's been around. A lot of people have played it. I've never really gone into too much into it because I was never really that good with it. Didn't really have anyone to multiplayer with. I know I might become a late Minecraft streamer at some point. I know, like, so many people got rich playing Minecraft.
You're part of your evolution arc. You're going to be a Minecraft streamer.
Not exclusively, but I might do a stream of Minecraft at some point.
I would sit with my kid cousins would come over to my grandparents. So I'm helping take care of my grandparents. Yeah. And they would come over and they would just kind of put on YouTube. And my grandpa, he's got Alzheimer's. So yeah, executive function isn't best. And the stuff though that YouTube would show them for these streamers is like, like, whoa. And you would get some of that stuff where it's like Spider-Man gets Elsa preggers. And stuff. Like,
oh no, not Elsa Gate.
You cannot just leave these kids to YouTube. You cannot.
Oh yeah. Oh, man, that was so freaking weird. That whole rabbit hole of the Elsa Gate Spider-Man.
Well, it's still going on, and AI just made it worse.
Oh no, I have not seen any of those in a long time.
You see, you don't have kids, do you? You're not interacting with kids.
Oh yeah, I don't have kids. I don't have kids.
See, that changes the content they're going to give you. And YouTube, this is serious, a big problem. I don't know why YouTube allows it, because some of that stuff in those videos, it's like,
it was borderline fetish shit, from what I understand.
Yeah, almost past borderline, like almost full on. And it's like, why? I'm not going to say any of it because I'm afraid to get your channel in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of the problem, though. It's like if you or I did 10% of what these kids shows are doing, would be gone in an instant. We've Thanos out of existence. But there are all these channels. They're putting out these videos, get hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of views, and they're mostly being watched by young kids, between the ages of like 3 and 7. And it's the most like evil, profane. Oh, it's just so messed up. It's so messed up. Babe, I don't understand it. It seems like it's a ticking time bomb, because it's like at some point someone's going to sue YouTube, or there's going to be like lawmakers come after them or something. But
yeah, like they need to make kids mode stronger or something. I know they've tried to like make kids mode stronger.
Yeah, and I think one of the times with Elsagate that was one of those kind of ad apocalypse moments for YouTube. I think, if I remember correctly. But I think it's like people are like, didn't that just go away?
Yeah, it is like, especially what's been going on in the community right now. Like, a bunch of my friends got like demonetized for really stupid stuff.
Yeah, and it's better than X, but YouTube has a problem of they rarely second guess their decisions. Even when they say they do, they don't really, because they're like, we will evaluate the content. It's like 5 seconds later, no, you're still denied. Like, you really evaluate that?
I can tell from the experience of getting hacked that yes, YouTube is a little bit better with communication than X, but not by a lot.
No.
But and it's also a lot easier to become a content creator on YouTube than it is on X. Like the bar on X is really high.
Well, that's because you're not saying enough about what Big Daddy Elon wants to hear, Dash.
Oh yeah, I'm not. If I just start talking about stuff Elon cares about, then maybe like I'll get the retweet. Like I know I know that's what Grums is doing. I know Elon thinks Grums is so cool. Yeah. Oh man. I'm not going to get too much into the whole Grums thing because it's
stuff.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I've seen Elon and I've seen Grums, and I know he's got his attention.
Like your chatter was saying when they're saying it's totally hypocritical. It doesn't make any sense. Trying to make sense of these social media companies and what is okay and what's not will
There's
drive
no
you
there's
crazy.
no consistent standard. It's just basically like whatever anyone feels like. There was a VTuber Taiga that got like completely like demonetized and like yeeted from YouTube, and he was like very distraught about it. And it was for stuff that like other VTubers have gotten away with, which was like lewdness. So he's like this big like femboy VTuber and stuff, very popular, and he got like completely demonetized. I don't know, I guess for like showing too much skin.
And it doesn't ever make sense because it's completely subjective. And the way the companies like it, this is the problem with big tech generally, is they want it so they can make the determination whether it crosses the line or not. So it's completely subjective.
Yeah.
So it's like, why does Pokimane get away with something, that no one else can, kind of thing? And it's frustrating as all heck, because then you're like, especially like if you lose your YouTube account or you got a strike, and then you're just basically you get on X and you're just basically begging, hoping that YouTube notices you or enough big accounts notice you to get their attention for a manual evaluation.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. And then like, Twitch is like even worse. Like, with this whole like, I got a lot of hate for my video about Hassan and Ubisoft, but like, the stuff I've heard Hassan doing, there's no reason how he should even have a platform on Twitch anymore with what he's gotten away with, just because he makes so much money.
And I kind of share those feelings. I'm libertarian. I'm like, free speech, awesome. But if you're going to have rules, they have to be,
enforce
they have
them.
to be
Exactly.
Fair. Yeah.
I'm with you all the way. Like I'm pretty libertarian when it comes to speech. Just let the best ideas win. But like, if you are going to enforce like community standards, like, be smart about it, be like fair about it.
Yeah. One of the things I'm going through right now. Oh, don't get me started on Twitch. I got banned in chat for something stupid. It reminds me of Reddit. Reddit's like that. My actual job that I'm actually trained and can actually do, besides just being a disabled bum, is disability reporter. And I was banned like a year or two ago for the disability from the disability subreddit. I'm like, I've seen you guys like put my stuff on here, but I guess I'm not allowed to go on the disability subreddit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Reddit's a ridiculous place.
Well, yeah, the thing is, like, you get the most power-hungry people becoming mods, like, in every Reddit and trying to control those communities and gatekeep them. That's why Reddit is shit, because, like, only, like, the worst people can become mods.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And the Reddit gives mods an incredible amount of leverage, which in some ways is good. But you get weird things. You get weird things that don't make sense or very frustrating.
I've had to butt heads with a lot of like mods in communities you would never even imagine. It's just and they'll ban you for stuff that you do on another Reddit.
Yep. Even now, like history that people are talking about, that like history is now being one of the metrics that they'll use against you.
Fucking insane.
Well, I guess it's called upvotes on Reddit, isn't it? Same thing.
Garbage. I hear that's why Reddit's stock isn't doing very well.
Yeah, Reddit, people in the news community. That's such a ridiculous. It's such a stupid term. Everything community. People who work in news hate Reddit right now because they made the Faustian bargain with Google. So I think last time I was on here, we talked about how Google basically since fall 2023 has basically been trying to take over like all the news. Like,
yeah, last time you were on my show, you did say this. I remember that.
You know who got the exception? Who signed a deal with Google even before they started? Reddit. And it's because Google trains their stuff on Reddit. And that's why Reddit's been boosted since then.
Oh, wow. Shady.
That's got to be, but I don't know how long Reddit's got to be in the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Google's plan doesn't make any sense because you're like, at some point, you've driven everyone off the web. So like, what are you going to make content on? Like, whose content are you going to steal now, Google?
Well, I mean, like, and you're basically like X is like competition now because of like how it's been integrated into this like all-purpose app and with news and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is interesting. Anyway, I think we're going to end the show right here. Peter, thank you so much for coming on.
Cool. Thank you for inviting me. I enjoyed chatting with you as always.
Yeah, this was a great discussion. I'm glad we were able to do it. And thank you all for coming and watching. Stick to later tonight. I'll probably be playing more Metroid Prime 2, trying to get ready for Metroid Prime 4. I'll catch you all later.